Now then, our first guests on the show this week are Helen and Steve from ADI Access and their patron international visually impaired athlete Melissa Reid. Here's what happened when they joined me in the studio earlier today. Good morning and welcome to all of you.
Good morning.
Hi there. So this product is to help in disabled disabled toilets for those blind. And I must admit, sighted people like me never think of it. You just think how wonderfully set up they are. Of course, thinking about wheelchair people, but nothing for blind people. So the actual product is what?
Yes, there's nothing at all within a disabled access toilet to assist visually impaired people. So we have all the rails and the bars for people with mobility difficulties, but for sight impairment there's nothing at all.
Okay, so Steve, you've obviously been road testing this, I imagine. Tell us a bit about how you sort of worked it up to its current launch state.
Well, I've always had trouble in disabled accessible toilets. There's nothing really to help us. Some toilets use braille notices as a sort of tick box just to cover themselves, and obviously feeling around a disabled toilet for braille signs isn't
not the
place you want to be. It's just you've got to feel around for the toilet and the wash basin, the hand dryer and everything else. Anyway, so yeah, something had to be done, so that's why we came up with this. It's fastened to the wall beside the door, and
and it's activated by a sensor when the door opens.
As soon as the door opens, someone walks in, it'll be activated then, and then it'll give a short introduction.
Welcome. If you are visually impaired and would like a recorded description of this room, please wave your hand immediately in front of this unit to the right of the door.
Okay.
And then they wave their hands in front of it, and it gives them a full description.
The emergency pull cord is in front, on the right of the toilet when seated. The toilet flush is a push button in the centre on top of the cistern. The hand dryer, whilst facing the basin, is on the wall behind.
As soon as you talk about it, you just say, of course, that's obvious for visually impaired people using toilets in all the places that we want visually impaired people to have, freedom of access to. So, Melissa, as a visually impaired international athlete, you must have been delighted to see this and supporting it.
I'm lucky enough that I can still see enough to get around, but being on the international circuit with lots of visually impaired people which have got much worse eyesight than me have had to find their way around toilets in foreign countries where they can't physically afford to take people along with them. So I think this is just an amazing idea and will help them.
Everybody that we've spoken to about this project, it does appear to be the light bulb moment when they say, well, yes, of course, it's such a simple idea. It's a very accessible piece of kit, so nobody has to carry anything around with them. It will just fire off when the door is opened. One comment only, so won't annoy the people who have the gift of sight, but it will just trigger off and allow that visually impaired person to access the description. Also, businesses perhaps don't quite realise that there's £1.8 billion per month being lost because the needs of disabled people are not being catered for in their establishment.
Well, I hope that will be supported. I mean, it's great that you're based in Cornwall. I love to see innovation, particularly when it has some social good like this, which is being started in Cornwall. But I think with the number of catering outlets and tourism outlets we've got in Cornwall, hopefully you can really get some momentum going here near to home and crack on from there. And then, Melissa, you see this as having an international application from then onwards, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think as soon as people know about it, people all around the world are going to want to use it, especially in places like the Olympic Village. I mean,
Fantastic.
You're going to have hundreds and hundreds of visually impaired people in one place. Most of the time they won't have a guide with them and they'll be going around on their own. So I think that would be a really good place.
Let's aim for that then, shall we? A Cornish product, a product from born and invented on the Lizard in the Olympic Village in Rio 2016. Then that's the target, is it?
That would be amazing.
Amazing. Lovely. Thank you all very much for coming in. Pleasure to talk to you again, and thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Kim.